Alrighty, Random Canuck here. After years and years and years and years, I have finally made it to Harrison Hot Springs and the Sasquatch Inn. This is a very famous motel. It's been around since 1936, and a lot of the most famous Sasquatch researchers and people in Sasquatch research history have stayed here, and I'm finally here, so I just thought I'd give you a little tour. So they have the sign over here, and that is quite something. 1936. I just thought I'd show you a little bit before the sun goes down. So yeah, legendary food, pub, liquor store, but unfortunately the restaurant and the pub is closed for renos, but that's okay, we knew that coming in. And then over here they have some sort of totem pole, which looks like an eagle or a thunderbird of some kind. I don't know what this little tent thing was set up for, but... So this is Sasquatch Mountain Resort. So they have looks like an eagle or a thunderbird with a Sasquatch on its side, or on its wings. I guess it would help if I did that. That is freaking cool. Doesn't have any signage or anything like that. Oh, this is a cool thing. Sasquatch Mountain Resort. Come for the sightings, stay for the good vibes. Wow. I wonder if it's some sort of amusement park. I like how they actually have a thing there. That's pretty cool. But anyways, yeah, I am finally freaking here. And I cannot wait to hang out with Thomas Steenburg tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun. I got to give him a call here quick. And they also have this here. That's really cool. Looks like it's kind of been used up or whatever, but still pretty cool. But yeah, anyways, this is going to be great. Anyways, we will catch up with you tomorrow. I'm going to relax and get a good night's sleep. I've been up early, and Sarah and I have traveled a lot of kilometers today. So anyways, we will talk to you guys tomorrow. This is the Random Canuck from the Sasquatch Inn in Harrison Hot Springs, British Columbia. Good morning, everyone. Random Canuck here, and I am standing in front of Sasquatch history. In 1941, Jenny Chapman and her children had a house sitting right off to the side there, and her children were playing outside while I believe she was doing a load of laundry, hanging it out to dry, and her son came running into the house saying a cow was coming out of the woods.
A strange cow.
Thank you, Thomas. Correction number 1 of the day. And she looked out the window and saw this thing, and it was no cow. It was a Sasquatch. So she gathered her children, and from reenactments that I've seen and heard possibly, she covered the kids with like a bed sheet?
A blanket.
Okay. Yeah.
And she came out of the back of the side door of the back door and went down to the river and basically along this way towards the cemetery, went through that and eventually connected to the railway where they saw her running down the tracks.
Right. And so that was one of the very first, I guess you could say, modern Sasquatch classics.
Canadian Sasquatch classic.
Yeah.
The Chapman Inn says 1941.
And it's unreal. Unfortunately, the house is long gone, but Thomas here was able to get a picture of it, or not of the actual one, but a different thing back in the day. And then John Green did a lot of research with Renee DeHinden here, and I don't know if, did DeHinden or Green talk to one of the Chapmans at all?
Oh, they both did.
They both did.
They both did. So did Ivan T. Sanderson just a week or so before they died.
Wow.
Yeah.
Unreal.
And Joseph Dunn, who predates all of them, came up here.
And right, and they did end up, that was one of the first cast tracings or track casts
In Canada,
Yeah.
And the family kept that casting as a door stopper for decades, and they got rid of it when it broke.
Lesson is always, and take care of your Sasquatch evidence. Never use it as anything other than Sasquatch evidence. Unreal. By the way, this is one of the most famous and well-known Sasquatch researchers in Canada, if not the world, Thomas Steenburg.
We're standing in front of the property, Schneider's property, that used to belong to the Chapman family. George and Jenny Chapman, who had the Sasquatch approach their house, which no longer exists, but is basically where the small poplar tree was. Well, it's not so small anymore. And was right inside. As a matter of fact, George Chapman's shovel is still sticking out of the two trees on the left-hand side, though it's about 9 feet off the ground right now.
His shovel's up there.
Yeah.
Somebody get a ladder?
It's stuck right into the tree. He put it right in because, of course, it's both Siamese twin trees with the trunk and two stems. He put the shovel there, and the tree grew up around it and slowly grew, and now it's about 9, 10, 12 feet off the ground. The handle's still sticking out of the ground.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
That is absolutely amazing. Now, I understand, Thomas, now in this report, it came out, they had a kind of a separate shed with fish in it.
Yeah, he was a lean-to on the side of the fish. Matter of fact, hang on.
Okay. All right, so while Thomas gets his chart, I believe, it's so cool and still so eerie to be standing here. This is something I read about in books and seen on TV.
The incident happened in 1941.
Correct.
John Green took these photographs in 1957, so the house was abandoned and derelict at that time. And you could see the shattered remains of the old lean-to that used to be right beside the door. That's where the salted salmon barrel was kept.
Right.
Where it had been basically the top ripped off and the contents scattered all over the place.
Right.
Yeah.
So my estimation, it smelt the fish, or it knew it was there before.
Tried it and didn't like it.
Right. Yeah.
Or at least as far as the story goes, because they never saw it again.
No.
Now, according to the original story, you got the impression the Chapman family abandoned the place quite quickly. Well, yes and no. They actually stayed another week, and something kept coming back, making high-pitched whistling noises outside, but they never saw it again. At 3 in the morning. After a week of that, they finally abandoned the place. However, the small house was continued to be used by other relatives of the Chapman family, and what really caused the house to be abandoned was the last great flood of the Fraser River in 1948, when all this property you see here was about 5 feet underwater.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Well, thank you very much, Thomas, for bringing me here. This is just unreal. I definitely believe the story happened, and I could be wrong, and I don't want to sound racist, but wasn't Chapman a First Nations?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the Chapmans were First Nations.
Okay, that's
George and Janine
Chapman. Yeah. And what were the kids' names? Does anybody know?
Oh, I have no idea, but it was 2 boys and a girl at the time.
Okay, correct. Yeah.
All 3 of those children passed away of various things, measles, smallpox, and stuff, and they had a whole bunch of other children after that. Some allegedly told died when they died in a boating accident in 1960 on the Fraser River, but there are still children of the Chapmans who are senior citizens living around here today.
Wow,
yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Thomas, for that story. I think we're going to move on to our next stop before we get eaten alive by mosquitoes. I am not on the island anymore. There you have it, folks. The Chapman incident from Ruby Creek of 1941. It's a Random Canuck here. We will catch up with you later. Okay, Random Canuck here at another very historical site in Sasquatch history.
Classic tale.
Classic tale, yes. 1884, a creature by the name of Jacko was supposedly captured by a train from that area right here where this tree is growing out of, while the train was headed in this direction towards that tunnel there, which is known as tunnel number 4, which is I'm going to call Jacko's tunnel. And from what Thomas has been told and read, and everybody else has read, apparently they stopped the train about here. Whoops, I'm going to zoom out. And tried to get up this cliff The creature could not get above this cliff here where this tree is. And that's how the railway workers were able to catch up to it and apparently throw rocks on it to knock it off the cliff. They then captured it, tied it with rope, and threw it on the train. These old things used to be telegraph cables, and they telegraphed to this town of Yale, which was a booming town back then because of the gold rush. And they said, we have a very mysterious creature coming. But the issue was, I believe, was, Thomas, that the creature actually never got to Yale.
No, it was believed that to have been taken off outside the machine shops. We were just on the town side of tunnel number 1. And they did have the town doctor, Dr. Harrington, come and examine creature, and he weighed it, and it weighed 127 pounds, was 4 feet, I think 4 feet 7 inches tall, and drank milk with a relish and ate all kinds of vegetable matter they gave it, but he advised not to give him any meat because he was afraid it would make him vicious. And the men, of course, who captured him named the creature Jacko. J-A-C-K-O. Jacko, not Jocko. Jacko, yeah. And they were going to take him to Europe and display him, but there's no record of what happened to Jacko after that. And I wrote in the forward for Chris Murphy Barry Blum booklet on the Jacko case. I wrote in the forward, it was a great chance to solve a great mystery before the mystery became great. And it just didn't happen. That's an excellent way of putting it. Now, personally, my belief is it was a young Sasquatch. I find it hard to believe it was a young kid. But no, I totally believe this was a true story. Now, if it turns out not to be, well, then I'm the sucker. But you were mentioning that back in the day, old newspapers would run tabloid stories, kind of like what social media uses clickbait for today. But you mentioned that you found multiple articles of this incident going all the way to Winnipeg. Yeah, the Winnipeg Free Press article, which I found in the archives of the Glen Mill Museum in Calgary, Alberta, also describing the capture of a creature outside of Yale, British Columbia in 1884. And 2 American colleagues have sent articles, one from Colorado and I believe from the other one from Oregon, also describing the capture of something in 1884 outside of Yale. But it's all possible that all this is just a prime example of 19th century tabloid journalism. John Kirk III thinks he's found evidence that some of the people who are in the story were never there at the time. I don't know how he comes to that conclusion, but it's always possible he's right. Right. And like you said, P.T. Barnum, the Grover Krantz theory that P.T. Barnum got his hands on the creature and renamed him Jojo the Dog-Faced Boy, and he later died, and P.T. Barnum got rid of the body. But P.T. Barnum, never letting a good name die, 7 years later brought back Jojo the Dog-Faced Boy, only with black and white photographs of a young man who obviously suffered from that affliction where hair grows all over the body. Correct. And he had him dressed in a Cossack outfit with this wild story about people in the Ural Mountains who fought against the Tsar, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know, P.T. Barnum, sucker born every minute. Right. You know, this is the guy who sold a monkey's torso to a fishtail and called it the Fiji mermaid. That's why I don't give much credence to the Grover Krantz theory that Jojo the Dog-Faced Boy, the original Jojo the Dog-Faced Boy, and Jack were the same thing. Because the creature dying, that wouldn't stop P.T. Barnum, in my opinion. He would just stuff the body and display it anyway. That's a very good point. Yeah. And that's a point that I've never heard of until today, so that totally makes sense now. But no, this is the scenery that I'm in today. This is dead on Sasquatch country. This is what I've been looking for. This is what I've been looking forward to seeing. In my opinion, and this is just totally my opinion, I think this did happen, but I probably think some of the parts of the story is mixing and matching. Now, I don't know if I'm hearing a train or not, but thank God it's on the other side of the river, so we're not having to worry about getting killed. In 1884, there was no other train tracks on the other side of the river. That's right. So this was the only way to get to Yale and other places. So, but yeah, again, 1884, Jacko possibly captured a young Sasquatch by, I guess it would be the Pacific Railway Company, wouldn't it not? The railway company, wouldn't it not have been the CPR line? Yeah, Trans-Canada Railway. Oh, okay. Canadian Pacific Railway. This happened in was still 1 year away from completion. The last spike was driven in 1885 near Revelstoke.
Right. So I personally believe that a young Sasquatch was captured by the CPR in tunnel number 4 down there off of that cliff right there with that tree. It ran up here, or the men ran up here, cut it off. It ran up here, didn't get far. They pummeled it with rocks, tied it with a rope. But the story afterwards, I think, gets a little murky. I think that's where we have the issues. But personally, I think that actually happened. And you can't, for me, it's hard to say it didn't, because you look at this scenery and there could be 100 Sasquatches just in this area here. Anyways, we're gonna mosey on back to whatever Thomas has next planned for me, but thought I'd show you the famous site of the 1884 Jacko capture. Okay, random Canuck here. You're probably wondering why I've stopped on the side of the road to take a video of a wooden sign. Back in the day, these were scattered all over Highway 7, also known as Scenic Sasquatch Drive. According to Thomas, these were scattered between what towns? Hope and...
Hope, which is right here.
Right.
We're just entering the outskirts of Hope now, and all the way to Maple Ridge.
Oh, okay.
Along Highway 7. There used to be about 8 or 9 of these along there.
Wow.
And they've all disappeared through time, you know, taken down, not bothered with. And this fellow saved this one because he put it at the head of his own driveway. Thank God he did.
Yeah.
He saved a little BC Sasquatch memorabilia.
Yeah, for sure. So back in the day, this was called, not, well, the official name was Highway 7, but it was given the name Scenic Sasquatch Drive because the multiple sightings of Sasquatch crossing these roads and highways and just kind of standing there like this fella is right now, and cars passing by. And Thomas showed me one report from, I believe, 1978 or 73, and basically the thing was just standing there like that. Car stopped, hit the brakes, turn around, it was gone. So real cool to see this. It is a shame that that's the last one around. If I wasn't such a nice guy, I'd be telling Thomas to go get me a saw, and I'm bringing this back to Alberta. But I'm going to leave it here and let the other person enjoy it. But yeah, that is a old, original Scenic Sasquatch Highway 7 sign.
The late 1960s.
1960s? Okay. So approximately like 67 to 69, somewhere in there.
No, shit, I would say 65 to about 78.
Wow, that thing.
In the 80s, there were still a lot of them around, but they were slowly disappearing.
Yeah, unreal. Well, you know, it'd be really cool to beef that thing up. But anyways, I'm going to end the video here. But yeah, that is a old historic Sasquatch memorabilia sign. Old Sasquatch Scenic Drive, also officially known as Highway 7. Alrighty, I am officially in the new home of the Sasquatch Museum. This is incredible. They're building a new one, but
Here's the ones they have of mine.
don't have.
That's the Alberta book. It was redone in 2018.
Okay, you know what? I do have this one.
You have the Sasquatch in Alberta?
Yeah. It's just under a different title.
Oh, no, that's not the Sasquatch
That's not
in Alberta.
it.
It's just the layout's the same, yeah.
Oh, God, yeah. Okay. Alrighty.
And this one is probably a good one. It's according to history from... BC. We put that one out in 2012.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely the other one.
Wow. So these
and
are all...
Here's the tracks I found in 1986.
Are these are replicas or the real thing?
Oh, yes,
these would be replicas.
Yeah.
They're all replicas. Wow. Unbelievable.
I mean, that's the original Bigfoot print from Buff Creek in 1930.
Was that an original? Oh, I didn't know it was an original. I thought it was a copy.
Oh, it is a copy, but it's the original copy of the original print.
Oh, I see. You're right.
Wow.
The original is in Willow Creek Museum down in Northern California.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
That would make sense that that's there.
We had them here, but we gave them all there when they opened up the Willow Creek Museum in 1983 or 1993.
So
Of course, Bob Titmus died, so we had to clear out the inspection.
And this was Krantz's,
Yeah, you should watch.
Yes.
that was
Yes.
his reconstruction.
Oh, okay. So
I
you know
have, but I want permission because I know you're illegally opening for us.
it's not illegal. Go and use the bathroom.
Wow. This is incredible.
Yeah, it's down on the left there. The light comes on automatically. I know. Do you not have air conditioning in the car?
No. We have windows. Unreal.
It's a good thing I saw you guys drive by from my house. Oh no, I know they're all out for lunch.
And now I've been into this since I was a little boy. Oh, that's my girlfriend.
Who's that?
That's my girlfriend.
Oh.
All right, we'll catch up with you later.
How about that restaurant right across the road?
So these are all...
Gas station on the other side.
Okay, sounds good. These are all...
Yeah.
These are real. Casted by Thomas Steenburg. These ones
Yeah,
are
I've been there. Me and
replicas.
Bill used to go there a lot.
Yeah, it's nice, and they are very reasonable. Their quiche is really good.
Gray's Harbor. Wow. Is that like one of the ones that you see Meldrum holding all the time?
Well, it's Gray Harbors County, yeah. That's the
Wow.
track that gave Sasquatch its American name, Bigfoot, 1958. The Boxburg Cripple. The tracks I found in 1986 on the Chilliwack River. Merritt.
Wow.
2009, I believe.
And that's a real...
This one is the Bob Titmus River track,
Right.
which is probably the best set of tracks ever found in British Columbia.
And these are... Is this a replica? Yeah, replica or real?
Of course.
Yeah. And this is a replica?
No, that
real.
is the original.
Coldwater River, Merritt, BC, August 15th, 2016.
Mm-hmm. You can move the books out of your way.
Yeah. Found by Charlie Douglas.
And by the way, what you're seeing on that screen is my copy of John Green's first generation copy of the Parish and Gilman film. You notice it looks a little better than what you see on television.
Oh, I'd say. Unreal.
This is pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah, that's real. There's no way that that's fake. That thing looks like it's going faster than it used.
That's because it's at proper speed. Most of the time you see on television, they've slowed it down. Yeah.
Oh, wow. And they got a whole...
What's your phone number?
And Patterson's lost sight of it now.
Alrighty, Random Canuck here in downtown Harrison Hot Springs. Just finished wrapping up my morning-afternoon with Thomas Steenburg. That was an absolute unbelievable day. I saw things that I've been dreaming about to see and reading about and watching on TV. It was such a thrill. Absolutely a thrill. There's definitely Sasquatch around in this area, no doubt about it. Thomas is a great, great guy. He had all the time in the world for my questions and everything like that. So I really want to thank Thomas for taking time out of his busy day to make my 32nd birthday a lot of fun. So yeah, now I'm meeting back up with my girlfriend Sarah, and we're gonna go on a lake cruise. So that'll be fun. And then probably just relax the rest of my birthday. Anyways, this has been the Random Canuck. We'll catch up with you later. Bye-bye.